Hello, Karen Lynn here. Welcome back. I want to talk to you today about letting go of people. Now, this happens to us quite a lot throughout our lives. It could happen because somebody has died. It could, obviously happens when you're getting divorced. But surprisingly, when you're getting divorced, although you're losing your partner, in a sense, you're having to let go of your partner, sometimes you have to let go of friends as well. Some people see you differently once you're single instead of in a couple, or it's a little bit more difficult because all the friends are couples and you're now single. And I know it's not something you expect, but it does happen. And then, to be honest, sometimes, as happened to me recently, it just happens out of the blue, just literally out of the blue. Um, I thought that I'd found a lovely friend that I went dog walking with regularly. We laughed together. There were three of us, actually. And yeah, we just had fun when we were walking our dogs. And then one of the ladies moved away, and it was sad to lose her. So there was that letting go because she moved away. She wasn't going to be there regularly. There was that side of it. But strangely, the other lady, as soon as the first friend moved away, the other friend just backed off. The energy changed. She didn't get in touch with me as much. It was really hurtful, really hurtful. I thought I'd said or done something wrong. Isn't that just the case? Don't we always go there? Oh, what have I done? What have I done to upset this person? Actually, well, I don't know. I might have done something to upset this person, but she wasn't going to share that with me. I went round to the house to have a conversation with her. Everything seemed okay while I was with her at the house, but the minute we got back outside walking the dogs, the energy had changed. And I was an empath. I feel that really strongly. And in a strange way, when we used to walk, I felt like the three of us were all drawn together. After, as I say, the first lady left and moved home, so she moved out of the area, this other friend, it was like I repelled her. My energy seemed to repel her rather than attract us to each other. And it was really, really upsetting, really upsetting. So there are times in your life when we have to let go of people. And oh gosh, the number of times I've heard people say, well, you've just got to let them go. Well, you've just got to let them go. And sometimes that letting go, I used to go, okay, yeah, but how? How do I do that? How do I do that? And to be honest with you, nobody ever had answers to that for me. How do I do that? But I think I have worked out a pretty good process for doing that now. And at the end of the day, I think it's always good to remember, I know it's sort of a classic phrase, but when one door shuts, another door opens. You need to make space in your life for something new to come into it. So when somebody leaves your life for whatever reason or distance themselves from you, that does make space around you once you've gone through the grieving process to allow somebody else to come in. So although the transitional period is not comfortable, and especially if this is because of a death or because of a divorce, yeah, it's not comfortable. In fact, it's really horrible. But if you work through the process, then I think you get to a point where you realize that this person leaving allows for new people to come in. And that's nice to get to know new people. I didn't think it at first. I was like, oh, I know when I got divorced, it was like, I really don't want somebody to have to get to know somebody and then get to know me from scratch. Oh God, that sounds like so much energy. But actually it was really good fun, really, really good fun to get to know new people. So there you are. You've got to let go of somebody. Where do you start? Where do you start? Well, I think the first thing is literally just to start with acceptance. And acceptance can be just an intention. Now, all of this stuff that I start to talk about is about a shift in your energy. It's a shift from the sadness, the regrets, the wanting to hold on to, all that sort of stuff, to the letting go point. And because it's a shift in energy, it can take a little bit of time, but you can influence it. So step one, acceptance, and setting an intention that you accept that for whatever reason, this person is leaving your life. Now, as in my case with my friend, if you feel that before you can do acceptance, you've got to go and have a conversation with them to say, why? Then do that. You know, maybe you want to have that conversation that says, have I done something to upset you? Have I think most times, I really think most times the answer to that question is no. But for me, I had to have that conversation before I could go, okay. And the reason I could say okay is I really believe we all have freedom of choice. That means I can choose who I would like to be my friends, what I want to do with my life, you know, how I want to earn my living, what hobbies I want. I really do think that we all have freedom of choice. But if we've got freedom of choice, then we have to honor the fact that other people have freedom of choice. And for whatever reason, that could mean that somebody chooses to reject you. And it's often not about you personally, it's about circumstances that are going on in their life. Or as I say, you get divorced and you go from being in a relationship to being single. And that just changes the balance of the energy between you. And so you don't fit together quite so well anymore. You're having different experiences. And to be honest, when you first start a single life, again in middle age, you know, you've done the single life, then you've got in a relationship and that's lasted for X number of years, you suddenly find yourself single again. I promise you don't want to spend all your time with married couples. They're in a different chapter of their lives. And so you want to find some single female friends that will relate to the experience that you're going through. So setting the intention is the first thing. Setting the intention to accept that for whatever reason, this person has either left your life or is in the process of leaving your life. And please remember that saying that somebody's in your life for a reason, a season, or life really is true. Not everybody that you meet is supposed to see you right the way through to the end. You know, some friends come and go. You learn something from them, or they learn something from you. And when that lesson is learned, then they drift off. They go in a different direction. So set an intention. Just set an intention that you are going to allow and accept what is happening. Now, that will then probably bring up a lot of emotions. And to be honest with you, it's grief. It is grief. You're sad because that friendship is drifting apart or is over. I've mentioned this before. Somebody said to me once, or I've read it, that grief is love with nowhere to go. And I think that's a lovely way of describing it. When somebody leaves your life and you love them, then what do you do with all that love? Now, ultimately, and you're probably not ready to do this right now, but ultimately, you want to give that love to yourself. You want to nurture yourself. But right now, in this point, when you've got to the point, you've set your intention to accept what's happening, lots of emotions will come up. And again, when you're feeling the emotion, you want to allow yourself to feel them and let the emotion go. And the way to do that is to breathe into it. So you sit quietly, you give yourself time to feel and release this emotion, no matter what it is, sadness, anger, you know, whatever emotion comes up for you, there are no wrong emotions. Just sit quietly, give yourself some space to sit quietly and think about where in your body you're feeling the pain. It could be your heart, it could be your solar plexus, your stomach. It sort of gets all nervous energy. It could be somewhere else in your body. But wherever it is, just breathe, deep breath, have a sort of a real deep breath and direct that breath to the part of your body where you're feeling the pain. And then as you're breathing out, just imagine that you're breathing out all that pain. Breathe in, keep directing it to that point of your body, and breathe out. And don't add a story to what you're feeling. When you add a story to what you're feeling, you magnify it. So your emotion will get bigger, and you don't want that. You want to feel it and release it. So no words. And if you focus on the breathing, that gives your mind a job to do. So you can do no words, no story. Just breathe into it. Accept that this doesn't feel good. You're sad that this person's left, or that part of your life with them is over. And you allow yourself the time to grieve, and you accept that this is grief. Even if, like me, it was a friend that, hadn't been in my life that long, but it was still sad when she chose to distance herself from me without any reason. So, acceptance, set the intention that you're going to accept and allow them to go. Secondly, allow yourself to grieve. Give yourself the time to feel the emotions and release them. And during this period of time, I love writing, but actually this works for lots of people. Journal it. Journal how you feel. A good way is to, but don't do this in your journal, to write a letter to the person that's gone or is in the process of going. Pour out everything you're feeling into that letter, but don't send the letter to them. Once you've poured out all your emotions onto the letter, if you possibly can, burn the letter, because you're sending all that energy onto the letter. When you burn it, you dissipate that energy back into the universe. I know that sounds a little odd, but energy doesn't die, it just changes form. So you want to get those emotions out onto the paper. And I've done this lots of times, and it's really quite a powerful exercise. So write a letter, put all your feelings in the letter. And then when you're ready, when you think you've got it all out, actually just keep writing, just purge it all out on the page. Allow the words to flow. Write whatever you want. This letter is never going to go to that person, so you can say as much as you want. You can be as mean as you want if that's how you're feeling. Put it all on the page and then burn it. And then alongside that, just journal each day how you're feeling, because the good thing about the journaling is it will show you when your emotions are changing. It is really hard to measure them. And if you can just journal how you're feeling about the person, what you're looking forward to, anything like that, just a few thoughts each day, you will see your transition through this little bit, through the grief. You'll start to realize that, you've had a few days when you didn't feel sad. Or you might get through sadness and then start to feel angry. And you think, oh, where's anger come from? I thought I was grieving. I thought I was sad. But just journal it. Get yourself a really nice journal and give yourself 10 minutes, quarter of an hour each day to just write down how you're feeling. Again, it gets that out of your system and onto the page. Now, we're up to fourth. The fourth simple step. And this is something I do regularly because I work with the angels, and I'm going to share it with you. There is an energetic cord between, well, there's an energetic cord between all of us, to be honest with you, but some cords are stronger than others. And so, for instance, the cord between a mother and a child is really strong, really, really strong for obvious reasons. The more time you spend with somebody, the more you care about them, the stronger that energetic cord will be. And it is just an energetic cord. But when somebody starts to leave your life, a really healthy thing to do is to cut that energetic cord. And we do that. Well, I do that. And I am suggesting that you could do this too, by asking Archangel Michael to come into your space. And literally, you can talk to him just like I'm talking to you now, and ask him. Now, what you do is ask him to cut the cords of fear. You know, if you cared about this person, you don't really want to not care anymore, because we're, at heart, we are beings of love, beings of light. And our job is to put more love into the world. So we want to get to the point where we can care about somebody, but not necessarily want to have them in our life, or, you know, care about them, but that feeling of love is not so intense anymore. And our emotions come from fear or from love. Even when somebody's passed, a lot of the sadness is because that person's gone, but a lot of the underlying emotion is fear, because you're not sure what the future's going to look like. Same in a divorce. You know, even if you want to get rid of that person and you sort of feel good about them going, there are some people that are like that are happy to be, especially if you've come out of a relationship that wasn't so great. But the underlying emotion could still be fear, because you're fearful for the future. You're not sure what the future looks like. So what we do is cut the cords of fear. We cut those energy cords, and we ask Archangel Michael to do it. And once now, as I do it, I can actually feel him do it. If you don't feel anything, then just allow 5 minutes. Just sit and breathe gently for 5 minutes. Allow him to do it. Once he's cut those cords of fear, so you imagine, you can even imagine like an umbilical cord that's cut. What we then do is ask him to send healing energy down both ends of the cord. So we don't do it just for ourselves, we do it for the other person as well. We send healing energy down both ends of the cord. And then once he's done that, we ask him to seal the ends of the cord. Now, you might find, if you're in the stage of constantly thinking about this person, that you will put more energy back into the cord, even though it's been cut. So you could find that you have to do this a few times. Once might be enough, but you might find that you have to do it once a week, say, while you go through the first bit of your divorce. But over a period of time, you will start to feel better. You'll start to feel like, oh, I'm not thinking about that person so much now. My emotions aren't so intense anymore. I'm starting to come through this. And that's what you're looking for. What I want you to understand is that letting go is a process. So, you know, all those years ago where people say, you just need to let go, Karen. I go, but how? Well, it's an energy process. And therefore, you've got to set the intention. You've got to work with the emotions that come up. And you want to cut the energy cords. And you will get to a point where you start to look to the future, and you're not worrying about that other person so much. You're not, or that's not quite the right word. What I want to say is that the emotions aren't so intense. It's easier to accept that that person is no longer in your life, or is on the way out of your life. For this friend of mine, I still do bump into her from time to time while we're dog walking. You wouldn't think we were ever friends. We are now polite to each other like you would with any dog walker that you meet, because it's quite a friendly bunch. But that connection that we had has gone. But you know what? I'm okay with that now. Took a little bit of time, but I'm okay with it. And you will be okay in the end with the person that you're letting go of. So I hope that's helped. Now, if you feel that you need some help to get through this, or you want some help with releasing the emotions and cutting the cords, then you can contact me. Contact me and we'll have a chat, because I do a 90-minute letting go session. And it literally for letting go of friends. And I will work with Archangel Michael and do the cord cutting for you. And I will talk you through the breathing exercise to release the emotion. So if you feel you want some help, then message me and we'll arrange a time to have a chat and see if that's something that you would like to do. If not, give these steps a go and know that letting go is a process. It just takes a bit of time. Okay. All right. Take care. Join me next time.